This is the Chrissy Swan Show.
Oh, hi there. You're looking amazing.
Good afternoon.
Have you noticed that we have both? Is this intentional? We're both wearing white shirts?
Oh, this is weird.
I know.
I love this for us. I need a nice navy blazer now.
Correct. And do you know why we are wearing the white shirts? Because Langdon is going to be on the show. Initially, we wanted to talk to her just about her involvement in the ovarian cancer fundraiser Witchery White Shirt campaign, but it turns out we are going to finally get to the bottom of this live comedy show breastfeeding baby scandal.
It's going to be a Netflix doco before we know it, Swanee.
Listen, I feel like we have been lied to, and if you think you've been lied to too, do not go anywhere. We are going to solve this problem before the end of the show.
I feel like I know Trish, the woman, now because she's done so many television interviews.
Please tell me you saw her on the project with Clara, the naughty baby.
Oh, I did. We will definitely be enjoying that audio.
Oh, it's heaven.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
The story that everybody is talking about. And I'm finding it deeply interesting.
It is.
To hear people's opinions and how they change. I love something that makes you think. Is the story about Arj Barker, the stand-up comedian that asked a woman to leave his show. She'd brought a baby in. Initially, we heard that she'd been asked to leave because she was breastfeeding. That doesn't seem to be true. Langdon is coming up in the show, and we're going to talk to her about the mother, Trish, being on her show last night. Here's a grab from that.
I popped her on to breastfeed her. When I looked up, he was in front of me on the stage, obviously at the edge of the stage, still speaking into the microphone. And then he was sort of like, oh no, it's really disruptive, you're interrupting my rhythm. And I was like, okay, and everyone's still laughing. This is louder than she was, I reckon, on the night. And I'm just going to pop her on for a feed, I'm sorry.
Yep, go for your life.
On the boob.
I understand the workings
said-
of being a new mum.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It is a big job. I mean, what's your opinion on it, Jack?
After hearing both sides now, and like you said, Swanee, a lot's changed from when we first spoke about it yesterday.
Yes, because this time yesterday, the only information we had was that a woman was asked to leave because she was breastfeeding. That is not true.
Here is my thought, and I would like to put it out there. I'm obviously not a parent or a mother, so I take it with a grain of salt. I personally don't think a comedy show is the right place for a baby to be. And I know Arj said that he's asked for people over the age of 15 to be there. However, I think the way it played out wasn't done in maybe the correct or nice way.
Right.
I think had Arj, and I get as a performer and a comedian, it probably would be off-putting having a crying baby in front of you. But I think there's a way to go about it. There's a way to maybe go off mic and ask her to leave. From the way I've heard it, and I could be wrong, it sounds as if it was all done in front of everybody on mic.
Or, maybe a staff member at the venue could have made the call.
Seen what was happening.
Yeah. And knowing Arj as a very regimented, calculated performer that really cares about the experience.
Absolutely.
I feel like I agree with you. There was a breakdown in communication there.
Yes.
And also, I've had 3 babies and breastfed them and all of that sort of stuff. So when you're breastfeeding a baby, you've got to take it with you because you're the pantry. I get that. But would I... And of course, my children were, everywhere with me in TV studios and radio studios and absolutely everywhere because they had to be. Would I have taken a baby that was exclusively breastfed to anywhere where silence was required? Probably not.
Yeah. And I've got no issue with breastfeeding either. Like if I'm at a cafe and a new mum's breastfeeding, I don't even blink twice.
And I also have no problem with a baby crying anywhere.
Yeah. I think in a comedy show, though, I would, Swanee, if I'm completely honest. I think I would, as a paying sort of customer, be frustrated that my experience was being ruined.
And, to go with that as well, there are movie sessions that you only find out about when you've got a newborn. They're called, they've got a special name, but they are specifically for women with babies.
Oh, that's cool.
And the volume is down a bit, and everyone there understands that because silence is generally required in a movie and you want to see a movie, you can bring your baby and it's understood that they're maybe up and down and going out and getting the boob out and crying and all that sort of stuff.
That's great. That would eliminate any anxiety, I can imagine, as a new mum.
Yeah, I think it's important to speak to somebody that was there, get the facts, because there's been so much weird stuff going on in the media. And Kelly was there at the event.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
At Priceline, you can get a free Shane Warne Legacy heart test on a Sisu health station with results in as little as 4 minutes. Tracking your health is easy at Priceline.
Visit priceline.com.au to find your nearest participating store.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
Everyone is talking about this story. A woman was asked to leave a stand-up comedy show. Initially, we thought it was because she was breastfeeding. Turns out not to be true. I feel like the only way to get to the bottom of this is to talk to somebody that was there.
An eyewitness.
Yes, and we got one right now. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, guys. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Now, tell us everything you know from an eyewitness account.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate this because there has been a massive beat-up about it, and some of the headlines have been really grabby. So, look, we arrived, the group, including the mum with the baby, arrived probably a minute or two after we sat down. As she sat down, she sort of lifted the baby up to, get her position in her seat, nice and comfortable. And we were sitting probably 3 or 4 behind her. And as she lifted the baby, I turned to my husband, I'm like, baby? I said, that's a bit odd. Like, who brings a baby to a comedy show, especially one late at night? It started at 8:15 at night as well. So,
yeah, but babies never sleep, by the way.
No, I've had 2 of my own as well. Chrissy, don't worry. I completely understand the no sleep rubbish.
Yeah.
So the show commenced and, the baby, I guess, was breastfeeding. Obviously, we were sitting behind her, so we couldn't see it. But I can categorically say it wasn't because she was breastfeeding. It was because the baby was fussing. So the baby was making baby noises, gurgling, garring, all that sort of thing. Arj was really good. He incorporated a couple of the noises into his show and made a joke about it and laughed about it and all that sort of thing. And then it sort of kept happening and it was distracting and you could tell that he was disrupted. Effectively, his attention was taken away.
Yeah.
And, we've got, internal sources of attention, external sources of attention that, takes it away and all that sort of thing. But I just think that, it was probably not the right environment for a baby to be in. But I will say as well that, he did request very politely, with a lot of empathy and very professional. He did stand in front of her, tried to get her attention and said, could the baby leave? And I think what made it awkward, I know what made it awkward, is the fact that it took about 2 minutes for her to sort of understand that it wasn't a joke and he was actually asking her to leave.
Yeah.
On top of that, unfortunately, and this is probably the most embarrassing and awkward part, during that 2 minutes, the audience was getting rowdy and a lot of them were actually yelling to her that she should go. So it wasn't Arj, it was actually a really embarrassing situation that the audience created. And it wasn't everyone, like it was probably 3 or 4 people who were shouting out, just go and all that sort of thing. But to set the record straight as well, there was probably 4 or 5 in her group that left. And then there was probably 3 or 4 other ladies in front of them. I don't know if they were together, but they left. And then probably 2 minutes after that, there was another group of people who were in front of us that we saw leave as well. So he had lost his train of thought. Very difficult. I feel for everyone. It was real cringeworthy, guys.
Oh, God, I bet. Did the show get back on the road?
Look, he tried. I'm going to be very honest. He did try, but he kept coming back to the fact that, this had happened and you could tell that he was really embarrassed by the whole situation.
Yeah.
He tried to make jokes about it and cover it up and, tell us that, he doesn't hate babies and all that sort of thing. But very much tell that his attention, it was gone. He was done.
Yeah, what an awful situation.
I really feel for both Arj and the mother, and also it almost sounds like, not to villainise anyone, but it's probably the few crowd members that were boozed up that started reacting that way that have sort of caused this hoo-ha.
Yeah.
Their reaction was disgusting, guys. I'll be very honest.
Yeah.
It was really awkward and really embarrassing, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And I do love the opportunity to set the record straight. When Ali's on the show later, I'm going to ask her about truth in reporting and what seems to be going on with clickbait at the moment.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
Celine Dion is in the news today. Every time. Oh, my God, what a song. Self. Don't want to be. I mean, I do actually want to be.
There's nothing you dream of more.
And of course, we've got to play something from Titanic. Come on, have you got it? Yes. She was never stronger. I hope Joel Creasy's listening to this because Celine is his absolute hall pass.
Really?
Yeah, loves her.
Would he actually go there with her?
I think so.
Joel wouldn't. No, he wouldn't know what to do.
I think you'd be surprised.
Right, okay.
Anyway, Celine Dion has sat down with Vogue France. And she causes a sensation every time she's out in public. She'll pop up to the Grammys or whatever. Everyone loses their mind because she's very unwell.
I did not know this.
Yeah, she has something called stiff person's syndrome. Don't laugh.
I don't know why I am.
Jack,
I didn't mean to laugh.
You and your black
You didn't have to call it out. I was going to mask that really well.
I knew when I saw that I had to say stiff person syndrome, I knew that you would laugh.
Well, the minute you hear stiff, you just think...
It is an unfortunate one to have.
Well, hi, what do you have? What's wrong with you? I've got stiff person syndrome.
I think if I had stiff person syndrome, I would pick it to have the name changed to whoever discovered it.
Yeah.
So it's just better to have just say Georges Ricard discovered it. I'd like Georges Ricard's disease.
Yeah.
Anyway, she has said basically, it's a chronic illness. There is no cure. They are the worst. And she can either disappear and say, that's it, I'm done, or she can train like an athlete, and she's chosen the latter.
To train like an athlete?
Yeah. Yep, to try and stay on top of it. You go, Celine.
I know what you would do. Disappear.
I mean, look, to be honest, depending on the day I'm having, I would welcome it. I may even make up a case of Jean Ricard's syndrome just to get out of stuff, just to stay at home. Now, reminds me though, I found this amazing article about riders.
Ooh.
Can you explain what a rider is to those who do not know?
A rider is what a celebrity requests or demands when they're doing a show or a concert. For example, if you, Chrissy, were to go on the Drew Barrymore show, you'd probably be able to provide a rider of what you would like in your dressing room whilst getting ready.
I would need a full pack of tenor ladies. If ever I got to meet the Queen, Drew Barrymore, can you imagine how much her and I would lose our mind together? But Celine Dion's rider is a private jet and 75 first-class hotel rooms for her production team. The cost of this request is $350,000. That might have changed. I know. 75 first-class hotel rooms. What that says to me about her is that she really values her staff.
Yes.
Pharrell Williams, his rider is very simple. $15, a framed photo of Carl Sagan.
Wow.
Joel Creasy is calling us to discuss whether or not he would sleep
Hello,
with
you're on
Dion.
air.
You're on air. Be careful.
I just heard you talking about my queen Celine Dion, and I heard my name as I got in the car.
Yes, I'm saying that she's your hall pass and that you would absolutely forego the sexuality that you were born with one night with her.
And I said that you wouldn't know what to do.
Well, when I went to her concert, she said the most prophetic thing I've ever heard. She's Shakespeare. She said, this next song is dedicated to anybody in the crowd that has ever been a parent, and dedicated to anybody in the crowd that has ever been a child. Celine.
That covers everyone.
Everybody. Thank you for that.
And that is surprisingly coherent for Celine.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon, Joel.
See you soon.
Love you, bye. Pharrell Williams has a framed photo of Carl Sagan, and I had to look up who that was. He's born in Brooklyn in 1934. He's an astronomer, planetary scientist, and science communicator. That is very odd. I kept on looking through them going, who do I most align with? Tom Cruise. His rider is underwear specially made for him. Now, that's a flex.
That's cool.
That's a flex because what does that say to you? It says that a normal pair of underwear
don't fit.
Is not big enough for Tom Cruise. Mariah Carey,
hers
allegedly,
would be ridiculous.
It is absurd, has an assistant to throw away her chewing gum. That's their only job.
Wow.
And then we get to the great Britney Spears and finally something I can relate to. I'm going to ask you what your rider would be in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Britney Spears is, I mean, you know, this was obviously when she was allowed to leave the house to go to work. She requests 6 cases of Diet Coke and 10 pieces of fried chicken wherever she goes.
Oh, my God, that fully is you.
That is me. In fact, this time 4 days ago, I was on the side of the road with 2 KFC drumsticks being neatly dipped into a little tiny pot of gravy, which is the dinner of champions. Now, you, Jack.
Okay.
If you had a rider,
I've got a
what
list
would it
of
be?
I've got a list of 5 things.
Oh my God.
Number 1, San Pellegrino, a bottle, chilled, sitting there.
Oh my God, you wanker.
Number 2, translucent powder because everyone tells me I'm shiny and I have a shiny forehead.
I can sort you out with that. Priceline Pharmacy.
Please, can you get me some?
Yeah, I've got contacts.
3, Red Rock Deli chip sea salt. Number 4, vodka, vermouth and olives just so I could have a martini ready to go.
Oh my God.
And then my 5th request is a full-length mirror, which I have requested here at Nova and Marina gets angry, but I got it.
Oh my God, you do one cross for a morning show on the
Shut up.
weekend. Look at you.
The Chrissy Swan Show. The Chrissy Swan Show.
Let's go clicking.
Chrissy's clickbait.
I was very excited this morning. I subscribe to one magazine really, and it's Vanity Fair.
Ooh,
and I've had that subscription for 15 years, 20 years maybe. And it's the one thing that I will not slash in the Cosy Lives.
VF stays.
VF stays.
Do you get the hard copy?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. And you get a free digital thing with it, but I never ever, I'm old school.
No.
And, you know, the journey of the magazine is that it comes in and I open it and then I put it next to my bed and I never ever read it.
But it looks great.
Because I never have
A pile of Vanity Fairs next to the bedside table looks great.
Yes. Anne Hathaway is on the cover and she's also done V Magazine. Is that the same thing?
I think V Magazine's something different.
Okay. Well, she has recounted a horrific encounter in the early 2000s where a casting director said to her, "We have 10 guys coming today and you're already cast. Aren't you excited to make out with all of them?"
Wow.
10 guys.
It's like a kissing booth.
It really is. I mean, look, that would have been a dream for me when I was 16, but I couldn't give it away, as I've said before. Good on her. I can't wait to not read the article in the Vanity Fair. Of course, she looks elite on the cover.
There was a video of her that did the rounds not too long ago of Anne Hathaway, and she was like drunk dancing and fully like fun. And I'm like, I didn't pick you to be like my kind of gal, but you look fun.
You don't have to be drunk to be fun, Jack.
You kind of do.
Recalibrate yourself. Kim Kardashian v. Taylor Swift. It has been reignited by the Tortured Poets Department song called Thank You, Amy, which is allegedly about her and in true Taylor Swift style. The reason that we know it's about her is because there are 3 capital letters in the title and they spell Kim. I mean, she is a diabolical queen and saviour. Kim Kardashian is suffering the wrath of Swifties and Ifties and Swiftocrats because she has lost 100,000 social media followers. Oh my God, how will she survive?
Wow, all that money she's going to lose. Poor Kim.
She would not know.
No,
surely.
of course not.
You know, I've been meaning to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Because someone like Kim Kardashian is obviously very busy, right? Like crazy busy. But it looks like she runs her socials.
Yeah, I think she would.
How?
I think people like her who started on social media and that was where it all sort of began for her. You're just so used to doing it that you're happy to continue to do it. You don't think
she's like paying somebody an exorbitant amount of money to post as if it's her?
I could be naive here. I don't think she is. And I even think when it comes to like Chloe, like bless her, but man, she face tunes the hell out of her pictures. I think she'd do it all herself because it's a bit too grim to ask someone else to do it.
That is a very good point. The brief would be post whatever you like, but make sure it doesn't look anything like me.
Yeah, which you cannot give.
Happier news for Kim Kardashian. Despite losing 100,000 followers, she is the executive producer of a brand new scripted show. Oh. That means it's like a drama. It's written. It's not live.
No reality.
No. And it's called Calabasas. And you're excited about it.
Where do I sign up?
Absolutely.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
Well, hello. We are rolling into the 3 o'clock hour. We really do aim to get to the bottom of this breastfeeding / baby in the audience dilemma.
It's really changed since yesterday. Like, my opinion has changed on it very much.
I agree, and I feel tricked because I just saw again the headline that I first saw that I sent to you saying this is very bad. And the headline was a picture of Arj Barker and comedian kicks woman out for breastfeeding. Is it true or is it not?
Arj Barker is a very kind dude. I'd like to have that out there.
Correct.
Coming up next, Swanee, we've got Chrissy's Quizzy. Give us a call. And also before the show ends, Ali Langdon will be joining us live to discuss this very topic.
We're going to put it to bed, guys.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
Let's give away a bum bag.
Chrissy's Quizzy.
I'm excited to talk to Ali Langdon soon about the breastfeeding stand-up comedy night debacle.
We're really taking the lead on being investigative journalists on this story.
We are. Old bloodhounds that we are, whatever they're called. Hello, Ashley.
Hello.
Hello. Are you excited about a bum bag?
I'm very excited.
Are you as excited as Louise?
I'm very excited.
Oh, you've got a beautiful accent. Hi, Louise.
How are you?
Your name in particular sounds great in that accent.
Oh, thank you.
And it reminds me of, do you remember Shirley Valentine, a film from 1,000 years ago?
I do. She was from Liverpool. I'm actually from Newcastle, which is a little bit further up.
I know, but Australians are so stupid. We don't know the difference. But one of the lines...
that's not true.
One of the lines from it is, "Oh, she's a right cow, that Sharon Louise." It's always been my favourite. I'm losing my mind. All right, let's go, girls. Your names are your buzzers. It's the best of 5, meaning the first person to get 3 answers correct wins the game. And will not be a right cow, Sharon Louise. Question number 1. Name one of the 3 new judges who joined Andy Allen on season 16.
Louise.
Yes, Louise?
Poe.
Yes, the beautiful Poe. Would have also accepted Jean-Christophe, who loved my bread yesterday.
Your sourdough was fantastic.
That's not a euphemism. And Sophia Levin, question number 2. The Komodo dragon belongs to which family of reptiles?
Ash.
Yes, Ash?
A lizard.
Correct. Would have also accepted scary dinosaur.
Well, true.
That's 1 each. Question number 3. Name the comedian under fire for asking a woman and her baby to live. Yes,
Louise.
Lou?
Arj Barker.
Correct.
This next one's for the win, Lou.
How many... Oh, let's breathe. How many millilitres makes 1 litre?
Louise.
Yes, Louise, for the win.
1,000.
Correct, my girl.
Yay!
Now, 1,000 millilitres will not go in the bum bag, but all sorts of other bits and bobs will, Lulu.
Excellent. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Sorry, Ashley, nothing for you. It's annoying, isn't it?
She's in the draw for Nova's first class and 50K.
Well, actually, that is better than a bum bag, let's be honest.
They both are.
The Chrissy Swan Show. The Chrissy Swan Show.
Please welcome to the Chrissy Swan Show, the gorgeous Alison Langdon.
Hi, guys.
Do you prefer Ali or Alison? Because we call you Ali behind your back, but on this form it says Alison.
Oh, no, look. Only my dad calls me Alison, because that's the name he gave me and that's what he insists on calling me. Everyone else is Ali, so whatever.
Did your dad name you? My dad named me as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't know they were given such rights back in those days.
I know. How progressive, huh?
Ali, are you with a Y or an I? Because I was writing your name before and I'm like, I'm not sure which she prefers.
To be honest, I don't care.
Okay.
But normally it's ALLY.
Okay, great.
But Alison, Ali with an I, Ali with a Y, we're pretty easygoing about it.
I just don't understand that. I hear that from so many people. They go, I don't mind how you say my name. I can sometimes, even here at Nova, I'll see like a brief with my name on it and it's spelt with a Y, and
Someone's getting fired.
The rage I fly into, it drives me crazy, but I'm a word nerd. Now, we digress. Alison Langdon, the great Ali Langdon, host of A Current Affair, which we will be talking about in just a moment. You are looking fabulous in your white shirt, but it's not just any white shirt, is it?
No, it is not. It is the Witchery White Shirt campaign. So it's in its 16th year, and I think this is about the 5th year I've been involved. I love doing it, and so far we've raised something like $16 million for ovarian cancer research. But it is one of those things where survival rates haven't shifted in 50 years and we need an early detection test. So if you can buy one, please do, because all proceeds go to the Ovarian Cancer Research Foundation.
And everybody needs a fresh white shirt for the year.
I know. My husband's so happy because I like this one, right? Because it's kind of a little bit oversized and manly.
Yeah.
And I typically steal my husband's white shirt. So every time he goes for his crisp white shirt, it's in the dirty wash.
Yeah.
So he's quite happy that I've got my own and this version. So I leave his wardrobe alone.
How embarrassing for him when he goes out and he hasn't washed it and there's makeup all over the neck.
Oh, he wishes. He probably makes up a story about it.
Head into Witchery or jump on witchery.com.au, and like Ali said, there's 2 shirts this year. There's an oversized shirt and a cropped shirt, so you get to take your pick.
I'm going to get the crop shirt this year.
I actually wore the crop shirt when we did the campaign, and then just to mix it up, I like to always tuck it in, but it is gorgeous, the crop, and it's a little bit different. So you'd rock it. You'd look great in it, Chrissy.
Thank you so much, Ali. Now, your show, A Current Affair, is one of the great views on Australian television, and it always provokes a thought, and I'm sure I'm not alone here when I say I often get a chuckle out of it too. We're going to play for you some audio of one of our favourite stories over the last 12 months. It may ring some bells for you. It involves rats.
Jeff's rental is full of rats. They've ripped into his daughter's lunchbox, even eaten through the kitchen floor. But it turns out that's not his only pest problem. When we asked his property manager about the rodents, it turned into one of our longest ever on-camera confrontations.
What a tease!
What a tease!
Zarisha Bradley was the journo on this, and like she's talking to the camera. Then this guy who owns the property jumps into shot. We're trying to work out who he is. She's cool, calm, and collected. And then he never left. It's one of the funniest, most extreme, bizarre stories.
Well,
and that's a big call when you work for A Current Affair, right?
It is.
Do you mind if we enjoy what ensued?
Oh, please do. Please.
No. Do not try to slam the door. Oh my God.
When it comes to rental inspections, this might be the most dramatic you've ever seen.
I'd like you to leave now, please. I'll call the police if you don't leave.
You call police. No.
Okay, I'll call the police. I'm going to call the police.
And it's all over a rat infestation.
There's a super highway for rats down in the basement. You can see the trail.
And they ate through your 12-year-old daughter's lunchbox.
They ate through 2 of my daughter's lunchboxes.
2 lunchboxes, Ali!
Oh, it was so revolting. Like, he had all of his food in like Tupperware containers, in storage containers,
Wow.
And they sort of gnawed through the first couple of storage containers. That's how he had to keep his food. There were so many rats in this house.
I mean, I'm not alone here. Between us, we've got 5 children that we, I assume that you're lumped with the very tedious task of filling the lunchboxes. When I first heard that the rats had eaten through the lunchboxes, I thought, how great to get a lunchbox bag that's been eaten through.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
We are joined by A Current Affair host and dead set legend, Ali Langdon. Now, this is great timing because we'd already booked you to talk about your amazing work with the Witchery White Shirt campaign. And it turns out that a brouhaha was brewing. Arj Barker is a stand-up comedian who asked a woman to leave his show because, and the first time we saw about it was about this time yesterday, and the headline was, comedian asks woman to leave because she was breastfeeding. And I feel tricked. We will get to that in a minute. She was on the show last night with you for a little live interview, and this is how it went.
He sort of said, "Oh, I speak baby," and it said, "Take me outside." And then he repeated that. And everybody was laughing. So everybody's like, "Oh, he's funny. That's funny."
So was she sort of making noises like she is now?
Yeah, no louder. I think it wouldn't even be as loud as someone coughing.
I mean, we speak baby, Ali. We're fluent in it. What was that baby telling you live to air?
Well, I mean, that was the quiet part. I mean, in Trisha's defence, it was witching hour when I was speaking to her.
Right.
And if Clara had enough.
Yeah.
Clara was at that point where it didn't matter what you do. I loved it. I embraced the chaos of it, and I sat there going, thank God that part of my life is over and done with, and I don't have to deal with this. But Trish actually made the point. I may be proving Arj's point right now.
100%, because it seems like Clara's witching hour extended into a live cross on the project as well.
Thought it'd be really nice to do something that I hadn't done in a while. She's
and hey,
super cranky right now.
Okay, maybe she can go to Dad just for a quick second.
You know what I love? Sarah Harris, a great mate of mine, just Arj Barker that baby again.
100%. Well, nobody Arj Barkered quite like Arj Barker. He appeared on the Today Show this morning to set the record straight, specifically with regard to the allegation that he kicked a breastfeeding mother out of his show.
Had no idea if she was breastfeeding or not. Let's stop talking about that.
Okay.
I couldn't see well enough to know that, Carl. And I'm glad that you're letting me stress that point. Thank you. I didn't mean to raise my voice. I have no animosity towards anyone. I just want to tell jokes and do a great show every time I do a show. And this was in the interest of that.
I have felt quite tricked over the last couple of weeks with three main stories. That one, which was reported as a woman being asked to leave because she was breastfeeding, which was a lie, patent lie. The whole Kate Middleton thing where we were sort of led down the garden path by the media, and then it turns out that, she's got cancer and everyone feels really bad for the opinions that they made based on a lack of truth. And even more recently, in a much smaller story, I saw on Instagram that the Austin Hospital here in Melbourne, had banned tea and coffee from their tea rooms, and employees had to bring it from home, which turned out to be absolutely untrue. What is happening with clickbait? Surely journalists and the media have a basic obligation to tell the people what the truth is before we have to make our opinions.
Look, I think so too. And to go to the first one about the kicking out someone who was breastfeeding, that became very clear yesterday. And we certainly didn't make that point. We made the point that Arj didn't know that she was breastfeeding at the time. The issue wasn't about that. The issue was about her being asked, not even being asked to leave. She understood being asked to leave and was fine with that decision. Her issue is how it was done.
Yeah.
But you made the point, it's clickbait. And even around the Kate Middleton things, the journalists, particularly those working in the UK, who are the royal correspondents, they treated it very differently to what you're seeing on social media.
Right.
And what you would see on social media and the commentators is what you're talking about. And then that gets picked up, and that was picked up by talk shows in the US, but they were actually quite respectful if you look at how the royal correspondents dealt with it in that way. So I think a lot of that then comes in from social media. What happened with Austin Hospital, you see a headline that says that, you read it, and then you work out it's not quite the same. But it gets you in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you would have seen it yourselves, guys, right? Where, Chrissy, you've said something, you're a headline somewhere, and you look at it and go, what the heck?
Yeah. Just saying that then, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that's taken out of context, and that's why I really don't do any interviews because it's not worth it. But I remember one, an absolute doozy. I think the headline was, Swan admits to being a sex addict. And I'm like, I wish.
I was going to say, I wish I had that energy.
I'm like, I'll click on that. I recognise that name, but I don't recognise that condition. So great to talk to you as usual, Ali. Just before we go, it is a human right to be able to breastfeed your child wherever you want and take your child wherever you want. What is your take on, are there places that it is the right thing to do, it's the respectful thing to do to leave your child at home?
This is one where I will never bag a new mum for getting out of the house because I know how hard that is. I like that Trish tried to do this and get out of the house.
Absolutely.
And I feel so sorry for her that it's played out like this.
Took that hoodie off and packed the nappy bag with the breast pads and the whole deal. Yeah, hats off to her. And hats off to you. Get your white shirt from Witchery. You look absolutely incredible in the campaign. Well done. Must have been nice for you to get out of the house and get a little bit of shooting.
Watch A Current Affair, of course, 7 o'clock weeknights on Channel 9. Thanks, Ali.
Thanks, Ali. Always
Thanks,
a pleasure.
guys. Chrissy Swan, the sex addict.
The Chrissy Swan Show.
Let's do this.
Chrissy's clickbait.
It made the news recently that Rebel Wilson has cancelled all her upcoming book publicity bits and bobs.
She's on the nose, I feel.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't feel like I've spoken to anybody that actually likes her or cares about seeing her for this book.
The book is called Rebel Rising, and there has been so much publicity about it. I reckon that she's gone, I can't get any more publicity than I've already got, because every week or so there's a new thing. First of all, she reveals that Adele hates her, that it's something to do with the size of her body. Sacha Baron Cohen, who she did a film with, is apparently one of the great a-holes. And the guys from Fat Pizza, the series that she kind of, made her who she was, made fat jokes about her. And all these people have come out and said, hey, take it easy.
Take it easy, mate.
But the latest is that she has revealed in her book, I mean, there's almost no reason to read it now.
No, there never is with these memoirs,
I know.
because all of the juicy bits are released for us, which is great because I hate reading.
Do you?
Yeah, not a reader, mate.
Oh,
are you going to give me an intervention or some life lesson about how I don't experience? Hey, I read liners.
Oh, you read ads for Daniel's Donuts. There's no problem
Absolutely.
there. Hi, Daniel's Donuts. Give us one now.
How did they used to go?
It's Daniel Donut.
It's Daniel's Donuts time.
Yeah, you'll only read something if there's money in it for you. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pay you $200 if you read a book.
$200 cash?
Yep.
Done.
Okay. I get to choose the book.
Oh, that feels unfair.
It's Rebel Rising. Just joking. But apparently she's been in a British royal orgy.
Oh.
I mean, for God's sake, where does she have the time?
I'd read about that. Who's in it?
That is my... I mean, I haven't... who cares? I hope it's not Prince Andrew. That's all I have to say about it. Now, let's move on to parents being betwixt and befuddled about haircuts at schools. I don't understand it, and there's a school in Melbourne that says this is a very frustrating policy. You can't have a skin fade. You can't have... What are those little cat's claws in there called?
Oh, like the... a cat's claw. That's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah. You can't have sideburns longer than the earlobes. You can't use gel and mousse. I mean, this will not stand. You can't have a number 1 or number 2 shaver cut. You can't have dreadlocks. You can't... Tracks, they're called.
Tracks.
You can't have tracks. You can't have fades that are too, close to the skin. For God's sake, parents, including me, are saying this is the most boring argument and has been for decades. It's been going on since the 60s when boys decided to flip the script and grow their hair long, and it turned into all the musicals hair and hippies, and it's the biggest indication of a generation gap is older people trying to control younger people via their haircuts.
I think it's ridiculous, Swanee, and also when you're at school you're there to be educated. Your hair doesn't affect that. How you look doesn't affect the learnings.
And I'm going to further that, Jack, by saying you are not only there to be educated, you are there to find out who you are.
Correct.
And a big part of that is how you want to be, how you want to present yourself to the world, which includes your hair.
Correct. It was a big part of who I was. Like in high school, I would dye it, then I would cut it stupidly.
Of course. And I've got to say, at my house, I'm not going to name any names, but there is someone that looks like he's got a badger roadkill attached to the back of his head. And I am stopping myself from having an opinion because I don't want to be that person.
No, good. You're a good mum, Swan, for not.
Thank you.
Hey, before we go, I do need to mention next week, Swanee, we are flying someone to see Justin Timberlake live in LA. To be in it to win it, you must register via the Nova Player app or on Nova FM. Justin Timberlake's brand new studio album, Everything I Thought It Was, is out now to buy, stream and download.
What an amazing read that you just did.
Good reading by me.
Now check this out.
The Chrissy Swan Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.